Hello and welcome back. It's Chapter 4 of Gone Solo, 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. I am your host and storyteller, Royce Rosewood. To review what's been going on in our last episode, Levi McKinney fled Garrett with a mechanical man named Abernathy, changed his name to Mortimer Cassidy, and now lives on an island. A book publisher named Hortense Porter found one of his lost diaries and published it, bringing Mortimer/Levi lots of fame. He was able to use that fame to avoid punishment for his previous crimes, and George Perkins, the child of Cassandra Perkins, took the fall instead. He was diagnosed as a hemivore as the planet of Bruish opens up and allows more strange and alien creatures in. He's finding a little bit more acceptance, but he still kills. He killed an organist who was looking to live forever. So with all of that, that's where we're at. Just a quick review of what we still have in terms of characters. We have the immortal Cassandra Perkins, aka Ironheart, Siren of the Deep. We have the immortal Abernathy, a mechanical man, and my companion. I'm leaving George Perkins alive just in case he might still just be very old, just in case we want to connect that. And we still have Hortense Porter, a book publisher. All right, now let's look at our traits, our skills, resources, and mark. We have Poetic Disposition, which is checked. We have Hemivore, which is checked. We have Song and Pageantry, Soldiering, Espionage, and Famous, which is checked. Our resources, we have Painting of a Ballerina Frog. We have Antique Rat Catching Equipment. We have a treasure map in a bottle. We have a multi-generational rat horde that has come back to us. We have a diary, a book of ghost stories with a personal note, and the Madison, a sailing ship that unfortunately we no longer remember how to sail. And our mark is neck, gills, and fishy eyes. I wear a scarf and avert my gaze. So, with all of that, let's get into it. We left off at 68, and we, depending on how we roll, we're kind of drawing closer to the end here. All right, 5 minus 6 is -1, which will put it at 67. Language itself leaves you behind. People discuss concepts you cannot grasp using tools you cannot understand. How is this problem dramatically made manifest? Create a character who will teach you a skill to help you offset this disadvantage. Well, let's roll up a name. That's 55, male. Jonah. 9. Caldwell. Let's use an oracle card to tell us a little bit about Jonah Caldwell. Oh, it looks kind of like squares, but this all looks like very digital. Is like a computer programmer. As technology returns to Bruish. As the world digitizes, Jonah helps create a virtual avatar for me to access the data realm. And I've moved the Seraphina memory into the Ghost Stories book, which has filled that diary. All right, 6 minus 2 is 4. That'll put us at 71. And with the blue alternative prompts, 132. You gradually realize that someone who has long been a part of your existence is a figment of your imagination. Perhaps they died long ago, or perhaps they never existed. You'll never know for sure. Choose a character or make one. Even though you realize this, they still show up where you usually see them and talk with you. How do you take this realization? What do you say to them? It's a little bit different than the prompt, but we'll say that like Opal has sort of been following him, sort of a ghost in his imagination, and she's still around, and that just has gotten more and more strong. So I'm adding this to the Abernathy Morrison Island memory. Opal and I meet at the local bridge here, and I share my new poems of rat catching. Is Opal real? Is Opal a ghost? Just a memory? I don't know. We're leaving it vague. 7 minus 1 is 6. That'll put us at 77. Your body finally wears out. You cannot carry out your feeding patterns. What happens? The game is over. Oh, wow, that's a lot sooner than I was expecting. All right. Last and final memory. I can no longer feed on the beach. Abernathy and Opal stand vigil at my bedside. The last thing I see is Opal's painting, which, as you recall, looks like this. Well, that ended a lot quicker than I expected, of course. It always does. You never see or expect the end coming. So usually I do my reflections and announcement of the next series in a separate video, but I guess I'll just go ahead and talk and roll that into this video. Oh, it was such a treat to be able to revisit this game. It's so interesting. And the thing that I think I realized that's different about a journaling game versus a role-playing game that you're playing with an emulator, the choices that you make are different. Like in a role-playing game, like you are in control of your character and you get to decide what the character does. But in a journaling game, it was, with prompts like these, a lot of the time it's telling you what your character is doing, which is just a different thing. And it's just a different sort of shift of mentality of rather I'm controlling this character and deciding what happens and then seeing if I succeed or fail. It's more of, my character's doing these things and then we have to like retroactively justify why that's happening, it's fine. It's just different. I was glad we were able to use the alternative prompts. But the thing that then I realized is that often when we came back to the same number, so there are 3 prompts in every number. If you come back to the same number, you get to go through the second prompt. And that really only happened once because the other times we had visited the alternative prompt and then if we landed on again, it was the regular prompt. That's what happened more often. But what these do is they sort of kind of stack on each other. And so we had very little of that. And so there was sort of a little less sort of overlap and like connection. But I did get to use some of the cool, interesting alternative prompts. It was just different. But I do have the next system picked out. So give me a second and I'll go grab that and show it to you. All right, here we go. Next up, I am going to be playing Ironsworn Starforged. I'm so excited about this. I've been sitting on this one for a while. And I have some fun and cool ideas of how we're going to make it science fantasy to fit the theme of this channel. So I know this is a big popular game. And so I'm excited to put my own spin on it and bring it to the channel. So that is what we are doing. So I need to learn this. So I'm all ready to go. The thing about this being improvised is we just really never know how long these things are going to be. So sorry that this one's a little bit shorter, but we just never really know. Please, like, subscribe, share, comment. If there's a system that you're interested in seeing, let me know. This is Science Fantasy Awesome, and you are awesome.